So, hi, Luke. Thank you very much for coming to my podcast, Business Breakthrough. It's very nice having you. Obviously, I know quite a lot about you already, but our listeners, they don't. So, would you mind start saying something about yourself? What is it you do? What is your business? Where are you from? What are your passions? So we can get to a little bit know.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, look, I've transitioned in business over the last couple of years, which has been really exciting for me. Previously worked in property. I was a buyer's agent, and about a year and a half ago, sold my business. So it was very exciting to go through that whole process of starting up a business from scratch. I actually had two business partners during the process, and then sold my business, just over a year ago. So it was exciting to be in property. It was, definitely a passion behind what was going on for me. But I did feel like the industry as a whole in Australia was starting to get more saturated, and the market really wasn't tuning in for me to see a vast amount of opportunity around. As a buyer's agent, you're constantly getting more clients through. So it's great to get one or two deals really well, but to get a massive amount of deals with the amount of clients come through and serve them well is a difficult thing. So I think, we always think about clients and the success that they can have, and that's how you generate a really good business. So I've pivoted over to working with AI, and that's an emerging market. And I see where the strength was in terms of technology, or the strength is, I should say, in terms of technology moving forward, and the sense that everybody's going to use this technology. Now they're starting to use it, but more so in future. And I think in terms of when I take myself back, 5-7 years ago when I was doing property, I could really confidently say to people, this is something that is going to be really worthwhile for you. I can't say the same thing about property now, but I can say that about AI. So, looking for the next part where it's really going to generate a change for people in terms of time, saving money, and even making money for people. So that's where I don't think property in Australia especially does have that right now.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. And what specifically in AI are you focusing on, or what problems are you solving, and how does it help the clients? What is it in it for you? What the process is? Because there is a lot of people speak about AI, but there is so many different things in AI. People do this and this and this. And could you be more specific?
Yeah, look, partnering with JT Fox in terms of the AI platform that he's put together, and the whole idea around it, to keep it simple for people that are listening, it's a platform like ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, Claude. So it's in competition with them, but it's the essence, or the unique part of it, is it has a very strong business brain, and the whole idea about it is to infiltrate within business, get you working efficiently, and then get those better responses, better answers, and then start to upgrade your systems where you're actually saving money along the way. You're not having to outsource various jobs like a legal counsel, like a marketing and branding person, that you can actually do it all in-house, and with the proficiency of using AI technology to really move you forward.
Yeah, it's good you are sharing it. You are absolutely right, because obviously I have access to this exactly same AI platform, JT one, for six months or whatever. We started offering to us in September or something. So, and it's been very good in terms of business. And just to let you know, just this week I have raised some finance for my property deal, and obviously I'm like, hey, new contract, new person, new terms, put everything into the AI, like you mentioned about the not need for a legal counsel or anything. Put everything there, what I want, what is it they want, send it to him, and he's like, let me just send it to my solicitor, because he's using his solicitor. Let me just check with him. They send it back. They had 5 adjustments. There's we want this, this, and this. I took what the solicitor said, took the contract. Today, I uploaded it to the powerful letter named JT. They want this there, this to be added. Can you add it to the contract what you created earlier? Do this, then this, and this. Send it back to him. I was like, everything what you wanted is added. Here it is. Happy to do it. Happy? Are you happy? I just got a reply from him 15 minutes ago, and he's like, everything is fine. Send it for a signature. And I'm like,
yeah,
he needs to pay for a solicitor to check, and every time he checks, he needs to pay a little bit of money, or he's on retainer. but I only check with GT1, and then I don't need to pay anything else. So
Yeah,
a very
the
good
power of the
example just
platform.
today. Yeah.
Yeah, the power of the platform to do that is just amazing. And, just the work that you just did through the AI platform is going to save you more than the subscription it is for a 12-month
Yeah.
period. So, legal fees can be in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 for something like that.
I
And,
was I was
it's
paying
less.
like when you're speaking about the legals, like with one of my companies, year and a half ago, I needed something from a solicitors in here in the UK, and they were like, you better go on a retainer. It's a 12 months, and then you can renew, and you can, And I'm like, okay, so it makes sense because we can do all these contracts, because they said, if you want this contract properly, this is 3,000. If you want this contract, it's a 3,000. It was like, it was just flying. And they said, if I'm gonna put both companies, I had two on that, so they're gonna give me a better deal. So it was instead of £2,000 a month, it was £1,500 a month for two companies, so £750 a month. But so I spent 18,000 a year, which now with this AI, actually I don't need to pay it, and I was paying 18,000. I'm like, if I would just have it a year earlier, I would just save this 18,000. I'm like, I'm so stupid.
Yeah, but I guess that's the lessons and you didn't know,
Yeah,
you didn't have the access to the AI
I didn't.
platform at
Yeah,
that stage.
I
And,
didn't. Yeah,
it's really interesting that, we spend so much in legal fees, and now we've got a system that can actually generate the ability to do all these things fast. Because it's not, sometimes it's not even about the money, about the time to get back. I had something that I needed to run through a solicitor this week, and they said, "Oh,
yeah,
I'm busy for a week." Now, it's very complicated sort of trusts, agreements, discretionary trusts, and things like that we've got in Australia. And there were actually, little clauses that needed to be put in and then changed and replaced and then all put together. So it is a very complicated one, but I'm sure in future that an AI platform will be able to do that sort of work. But, the basic contract of getting out there to the solicitor, getting a reply back might take you a week or 2 weeks. And we don't have the
yeah,
time to do that. And we're often not only, losing out on the time and the money of spending on legal fees, but also if we delay anything, we might be losing time on the property contract, paying interest when we don't need
yeah,
to.
yeah.
So it's all those additional fees that might be charged because of the pace, the slowness of
Yeah.
like humans or legal, typically we find that in the legal industry as well. It's just the speed is just not there.
Yeah, this is exactly how I lost the deal. It was in 2022. I remember I found this great deal. I made an offer, very good, like a all money out deal. I mean, cheap property, but all money out. I knew the street because I already had two properties in the same street, and I'm like, that's great. I didn't have the money to do it, so I'm like, okay, let's raise finance. I found a guy. He was like, okay, I'll give you money for that. I want the first charge. I'm like, no problem. So I said it to my solicitor, and then it went all, I was like, my solicitor, his solicitor, first charge, and they wanted to add a personal guarantee or something. I'm like, yeah, no problem, it will be all money out, I don't mind. And this whole process took 5 months. So the agent, the owner, they said, oh, it's taking too long, we are putting it back on the market. And I lost that deal. And I was so pissed off because not only I raised finance, obviously, which obviously was an achievement for me, it was 4 years ago, so I was happy. I could have the good deal, and they didn't happen. And of course, a year later, I've seen somebody did exactly what I wanted to do. They refurbished, and now they were selling for much more, and I know it was all money out. And I was like, oh, this process took so long. So, yeah, I know what you are saying about this, what everything it can cost. But what else? We are speaking about the solicitors and that. Is there anything else where you are using heavily on that platforms, which obviously helps in other business owners as well, like yourself, which they can utilize?
Yeah, look, in terms of, I actually had to do a business plan for my new AI company, and it was required in terms of a financial workings that I'm doing in the background for other investments. And they asked for a business plan. I was able to do it in about 25 minutes or so through AI,
Oh,
which could have taken me about 3 or 4 days.
yeah.
Like I don't have a nous to, I'd actually have to employ probably someone to do it. So
Mhm.
to get in there, have a look through everything, write a professional document up. But I put all my information, all the questions I went through with the AI about what I needed to generate a very good business plan that was directed towards like a banking setup. And so it actually specifically asked me, what kind of format do you want it in? Do you want it to do like personally for yourself, or do you want it for a bank, or do you want it for someone in particular? So they, because I put all that information in, and it kept asking me questions about what because I didn't have all the, the correct format available to the AI. It kept asking me questions. It kept, like wondering what I needed to put in next. So then it generated the format correctly, generated all those answers correctly, and then put it into a 25-page document. And I was able to do that in 25 minutes. And that could have taken me 3 days, or also I would have had to employ someone. And that probably might have cost over $1,000 to get someone to
Yeah,
prepare that for me.
yeah, yeah. You're right.
So,
And also,
I've used it in other ways like, marketing and branding. I've also used it with other investments. So I might get an information memorandum on a commercial property deal. I'll put that through the AI, get them to, establish the pros and cons, especially when those documents are like 80, 100, 120 pages. I'm not going to sit there. I'm not really an avid reader to sit there and go through everything. So getting the AI to do that is just so powerful and very time efficient.
yeah, yeah. And okay, so you use it for a lot of different things, exactly like I
Mm.
do. I mean, so many things. Like today, I use it so many times. I really like the marketing and branding, to be honest, especially with all the branding we do with JT. But so now, obviously, you have it, I have it. Now you are partnering with JT to be able to offer it to other people. So what people need, for who it is, and how people can get it from you if they would like to explore it as well, and to use it, like where they can find it.
Yeah, like definitely, we can do a demo, which is very easy to do over Zoom, which you can show people how it's used, what it's used for, and how good and how efficient it can be for them. Who's it for? It's for everyone. Like I think every single person, whether you're an employee, whether you're working, you own a business. Obviously, if you're a business owner, especially top number one to have AI, starting the process on working with AI. I feel like it's kind of, if you think about the early days of social media, going back to Instagram and Facebook, when people were just doing, photos of themselves, or like, with TikTok, they were doing dances. And now it's a whole machine, like business machine, where sponsored posts are coming through. You've got like TikTok people selling things on TikTok shopping, things like that are actually happening. So you think about where AI is now with really early infancy of AI. Where's it going to be in another 2, 3, 4, 5 years? So I implore everyone, get into AI, start using it, start looking at, obviously in terms of the platform that I'm working with, you can demo it. There is a cheaper version with a 7-day trial for the more advanced brain. So there's opportunities to get in at a lower level that you can start using it and understanding it, and then upgrade to a high level, especially for businesses. You want to have that integrated within your business, start using it within your business. And like you and I said, Vincent, we are looking at the cost savings that we've already seen that is well above the annual fee that we are paying to have use of that platform, as well as other people having use of that platform. It's going to save you
Yeah.
so much money and so much time.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think now JT added there that we have access to all the other AIs, ChatGPT, Gemini, and it's all included in that one. Which before JT had the AI, I was actually paying for Grok $30 and for ChatGPT $20, and so I was already paying for two from these 4 or 5 they are available there, and now we paid for this yearly, and then JT just added that, so we have access to all of them. I don't really use them, but they are there if somebody wants to still keep using it. But the good thing is that they don't need to pay twice. They don't need to pay for all of them because they are all in there. So there's actually a very good benefit for that as well.
Yeah, there's huge benefits. Obviously, like using the different AIs is going to be helpful in terms of seeing, where the products are going, and then comparing the different ones. At the moment where it sits, we see that the results coming through JT1, the Core Brain AI, is, far superior than what we're seeing on the other platforms. So it's good to
Mm.
try and test all these different platforms. And then, the specific idea of the JT1 platform is that business brain. So if you are in
Mm.
business, you really need to get in, really need to be using it, because the upgrades that are coming are going to be so beneficial in future. You're actually AIing yourself or AIing your business. So if people have questions within your business about what's happening, they can go to the AI and actually ask it without going to you, Vincent, to answer a question, or going to that business owner and taking your time out from yourself,
Yeah.
through those daily questions that come up all the time, to actually get the AI to answer that for your employees. And then
Mm.
in future, they're looking at AI employees to be integrated within your business. And I think this is where it gets really exciting for people in future. And this is where I think I reflect back on my property journey. I used to
Mm.
be really excited about what was happening and all the developments, the cash flow opportunities, the growth opportunities. That's where I see AI right now, and that's where I don't see property. So, thinking about where markets are going, industries are going, has been over my course of my life, something that I've always reflected on. Because previously, Vincent, I used to work in the travel industry and I saw a lot of technology come through. We used to book domestic flights within
Mm.
Australia, where we actually had paper tickets. That's no longer. You can book on your phone, and then there's no ticket. There's just a QR code, and you just go to
Yeah.
the airport, and it's done. So that industry was like really, it was reducing in numbers in terms of labor force. So I moved on from there. So we always got to think. You've got a business podcast. Like, if you're in business as a business owner or employee, where is that industry going? So that's why I
Mm.
thought, moving out of the travel industry. I moved recently out of being a buyer's agent, the buyer's agent industry in Australia. Yes, there's still opportunities there, but there's a lot more people coming into the industry because there's a low barrier to entry. AI, emerging market, very exciting where it's going. We're going to be integrating this technology in everything that we do, and that's why I'm super excited and want to be involved personally for me, but then to help other people realize that this is going to be where the future is. You need to start using it now.
Yeah, absolutely. Spoke with someone and they said like, I'm too late to join AI. I mean, if I would start like 3 years ago, it'd be okay, but now I'm too late, so the wave is already gone. What do you think about it?
Yeah, no, I think there's still opportunity. Someone actually did said to me yesterday that, oh, I think AI is mainstream, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's mainstream when people talk, they talk about it mainstream. I get that. But they're not using it like it's mainstream, like it's like Facebook and Instagram, they're using it right now. No one, like, we haven't got to the advertising space yet. We haven't got to people just constantly using AI like 30 times a day or
Yeah.
100 times a day. And I think that's where AI is going to be used like 100 or 150 times a day, with everything that's integrated within your home, your business, your car, society. So we are seeing starts of things happening in bigger business, in governments and things like that,
Mm.
and maybe organically through some of our phone systems and TVs and things like that. But it's not really being used on a constant basis, and I don't think it's mainstream at the moment for me. So your friend talking about it, too late. That I think
Yeah.
there's just so many opportunities still around the
Yeah.
AI space. Look, there's going to be, we just heard just recently about, ChatGPT losing $12 billion in the last quarter. So there is going to be a sense of so much money putting into some companies where they're going to fall. And if we look back on some of the phone systems or mobile phone companies that used to be around, Nokia, Motorola, BlackBerry, where are they now? The
Yeah.
iPhone didn't come out till really late, and now it's the number one, right?
Yeah.
So, you think about the players in the market that are in there now with AI, ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, and Gemini. Are they going to be around in 5 years or 10 years' time? Is it going to be
Mm.
someone else? Is JT1 going to be the number one? And
Yeah.
that's all to be reckon with in future. But if you think about what happened in the past in some of these platforms, Facebook took over MySpace,
Yeah.
like, so all these things do change and evolve, um, and it's going to be about, like, with your friend. It was like, oh, I'm too late. It's looking at what the opportunities are right now, starting to use it, get involved with it, and you may need to change, adapt, pivot as you go along as well.
Absolutely. You touch about ChatGPT losing money. I read some article, or JT also mentioned about there are some problems with privacy. People are being sued because of some privacy issues. How does it work with the platform with JT and about these privacy issues? Because obviously a lot of companies are worrying about this.
Yeah, look, the JT1 platform is a closed network, so they're not scraping information and openly have information coming in and out of the internet. So JT Fox has put his brain on there as the business brain, running over 84 companies around the world, and in various areas. I think it's over 50 countries that he's owning businesses in. So it's amazing that you can actually put all that brain in there in a closed network where privacy and security is going to be the top in terms of AI around the world. So that's where I think it's going to lead to, in terms of people are going to be, especially with this case that's just coming through right now, where I believe it's a US senator or someone high up in government in the US have downloaded or uploaded documents onto ChatGPT, which have, basically privacy issues around that. So we are going to get in towards people looking for that more privacy and security. There's been a lot of talk where the AI platform now, JT1, is going to be, especially with big business and governments, is being held on, potentially in their future, but held on their individual servers. So that's going to be, a closed network, closed within that particular organization, which really helps those companies to keep their data and their privacy security quite tight.
Okay, I see. And and with yourself, obviously now trying to get it to the business owners and general public as well to use it. Are you focusing mainly around you, where you live in Australia, or you focusing also worldwide? Or how do you approach people? How do you find people to try to utilize the AI?
I think, we're very early days on the AI, so I think you would say in a pilot stage. So getting people close that I know to work with it, I think it's essential to get that, that touch base for me and for them to actually use it, see how it works, get some feedback on it, and then you be able to go, wider. I think you start in narrow first and, work with the people that you know and trust, and then they know what you've worked with previously. I've made money with them, for them, and I can work with them to say, hey, let's work side by side on this. Let's see how this all works out for both ourselves. I know it works out for me, but I want to have the confidence for you for it to work with you. So going in very tight at the moment, close family, friends, people that I know, that are close by, and then it will be a case to expand that further. I've got a few ideas that people I know overseas that could then generate, further connections around this in future. But you don't want to go and just, blanket everyone straight away on a platform. It'll create too much angst around people. So if there's something that goes wrong a little bit, then, you're just going to have that widespread problem. And I
Yeah.
don't think you want all those issues. We've been testing it out for six or 8 months now, which has been fantastic to use. And it's nutted out a lot of those bugs, which has been great, because then when we actually test it out with other people, then they're not going to experience what we have gone through over the last 6 or 8 months. So I still feel like it's still early days and the technology is ever changing. So I want to be then working it with me and what I do, but also seeing what other people do and how they generate. So starting out with 5 or 10 people, I think is really important on this new technology, and then I'll start spreading from there. So look, I think the system, and JT Fox talks about this all the time, they're a year or 18 months ahead of where the game is in terms of other AIs. And that's how the confidence level of this AI, the business brain, is going to generate, far in excess the capabilities. It's just about getting the product out there and more awareness out there around it. So when I see, people happy in using it, I guess it's the same way in property. When you see people, seeing the growth and seeing the cash flow and seeing the benefits of that, then they'll go and tell other people. Then that will expand. And I think word of mouth is very strong. It still is. Like in an environment that we have Facebook and Instagram and various social media, that word of mouth is very strong. And you never know who that next customer might be. So you might get, for example, someone that's a friend or a family member, then they might tell someone who's a CEO in a large corporation, then all of a sudden you've got a contract with them around the AI. So even going back to Vincent, your friend, that, if they are involved in this platform, if they are, working with other companies around it, well, they can benefit too. So, I think I see it as a growth slow, but at the same time, just keep on talking to people about it, keep on showing it to people. And that's what I'll be doing, in the coming weeks, and then, moving on even stronger in the next 3 and 6 months time. So, getting really good feedback on it already, and, working with people to, get that started up as well.
Yeah. You
Very
better be
exciting.
moving fast. You better be moving fast, because I'm coming to Australia in 2 weeks, so I'm going to your territory.
Yeah. Well, that's where we can combine our strengths, right? And, even in case of working together on things. And I think that's the power. I know we joke about this, which is really good. And it's that competition. It's like when we're running together, Vincent, same thing, right? You have that healthy competition about what's going
Yeah,
on, and you push each other. And that's what
yeah,
drives really good activity. You might get the business in one area. Might be a faster runner in one area, but together we're improving, both of us. And
yeah,
this is why, we do podcasts.
yeah. I
Your
think
ideas
it's
and my ideas will combine to a greater idea.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about. Also, being part of the JT Network, insiders meeting on the events now, obviously doing the podcast. I'll come to Australia, so obviously if you will have a time, so I'll see you in Brisbane, and then
Mate,
we'll
of
chat
course.
again. Because it's about, like you said, it's collaborations, and you never know where it's gonna come from. But it's about, like, you share with me something, I'll be like, that's good. I can utilize in my business, and then I might share something, and you can utilize in yours. So that's how the collaboration works, and it's so powerful. And that's one of the reasons why I host masterminds now heavily around Europe. I just came back from one 2 weeks ago, and it was a big success. It's because when you put the people together in a room for 5 days, they spend together 50 hours, a small group of people, 20 people. So there is so much trust, so much collaboration starts happening. Some people also make money right away on the spot, but it's like, who do you know I can benefit from that? My business partner just told me that his partner, who was on the mastermind, just closed another client because of the connections from the mastermind, and she never made that much money in a month, which she's making now in the matters of hours. And I'm like, exactly, because it's like you said, the word of mouth. It's like, we can do social media. It's obviously important in today's world to be visible, but at the end of the day, it's people need to trust you, and the trust usually comes from meeting the people and building a good connection with that person. And that's the environment I'm creating from the masterminds, but also that's why I'm coming to all the events. I'm going to see JT next week in London. It's just, again, to show some kind of effort to it, and bring additional value to the room. So yeah, it's a
Well,
relationship takes
people,
time, but
yeah, people reward people that put in effort, and then the consistency around it. I was getting, property clients because I run. Like,
yeah,
you know, what does that say to you? It was like, you put effort in, you put consistency in, you will get deals done.
yeah,
People know, like, and trust you on the basis of the effort you put in. You show up early, you leave late, you put the work in, you help other people, they will bring you the deals. And,
yeah,
I've done a lot of business networking and events. It's just amazing what comes out of it. Doing podcasts with other people. Like, it's just you. the work you put in is just be tenfold. Like for people that, really want to strive and make the best of what they can. If you want to just do your 9 to 5 job and go home and spend the weekends and just be happy with your life, that's great. But if you're driven and want to strive for excellence, put that effort in. Put it in. That's
Yeah. Yeah,
that's what
people
it
need to
takes.
realize that it's like most people think is like doing the business. I think it's easy, or people get sold easy ideas. When people coming to me, I'm sending them for a mastermind or help them with some coaching on business, and we do something together. I'm telling them it's hard. You're gonna be feeling down. You want to give up. It's difficult. If you want to do it, yes, you can sign up. You can do it, but it's not easy. It's like definitely not selling dreams, because I went through a lot already, so I know how difficult that is. And
But you also do want to go through that. Like as much as we want the comfortable and sailing, and I've gone through periods where it's been hard. I'm a bit more relaxed these days because I have made money out of like
Mhm.
property investments, especially, but also out of business.
Yeah,
And that's easy to sit back and rest a little bit.
yeah,
But when you do, I have found that when I have done the rest, that I'm actually fallen behind a little bit in terms of where I want to be and what I want to do, and I'm not
Mhm.
going through those pain points right now where I did in the past. And those pain points or those issues that came up actually made me a better person, made me a better business person, made me better investor. So I think this is where you can really strive to I think, and the challenge of AI now is really getting me excited again about something. So,
yeah,
um, I'm really looking forward to where things are going around AI. There's always that contexture about safety and security, and where AI is going to take us as a human race in future. But I feel like in terms of where governments are, yes, people go very negative on governments, but at the end of the day, they want to keep civilization working and moving and growing. So, there will be some restraints around how AI works within business, governments, life as well.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the things you mentioned about that you were like running and getting clients for that, and that's it. Like all of these things shows to people that it's about being serious, about like you have the habit of going for a run every day, and it's all these things show, because people can speak a lot out loud. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. But if they don't see you doing it, then you are just talking, right? And you just have an example right now from today, because it was the guy I have raised the finance from. I sent him a message like at 3 o'clock, and he sent me a message at 8 o'clock in the evening, like, apologize for the late response, busy afternoon, send it for the signature. And I said, like, no worries, I'm about to shoot a podcast with guys from Australia in 30 minutes, so I'm still in the office. And he's like, oh, nice, best of luck. You have a serious energy, man, shooting podcast on Friday night. And now, obviously, he knows that on Friday night, instead of just doing nothing and chilling out, I rather stay in the office behind, because I have some people from Australia or from USA. So for them, it's their time zone, so we can do it that way. And this single message, no, tells me that when this deal goes right and he gets his money back, he'll invest again and more, because he see my work ethic. And it's just through this one single message, because it's kind of done, right?
Yeah,
So
it
all
builds a
these
trust.
things are so important. Yeah, build the trust. Yeah.
It definitely builds a trust. And like people don't realize that enough. Like the work ethic you put in and how you show up, the positive attitude, the smile on your face. And yes, it builds a trust, but it also inspires people as well. Like, the amount of people, I just had a call yesterday and someone said, the running that I do and I'm consistent about my running. And they said, oh, the 31st of December, I saw your post around consistency and what you're doing every day of the year. And he goes, I'm actually going to do push-ups this year. And I thought about 75 push-ups, calculated it, and it was just below 30,000 for the year. He goes, upped it to 83 to make it 30,000. So it goes to show that the inspiration that you had, build trust, and then and then inspire other people. I don't know. Is there much more to, in life around that than that? It's beautiful. Like it's beautiful things. Like we
Yeah.
talk about business, but but it goes back to those values that you have, the trust, the inspiration, the motivation, the drive. They're, I guess, the essence of who we are, and then what we can share and how we can help people. We might not help people, physically, but we might help them through what we do by influence.
Absolutely, yeah. And to wrap it up slowly, as I usually ask people at the end is, if you were going, which I know you already said you were, going through something difficult in the past in your business, you were feeling down, you were feeling like you wanted to give up or something was not going right, what or who helped you? How did you overcome that challenge if somebody is going through that right now?
Who helped me?
Who or what?
I think a lot of internal work is often the case. Right now, I have 3 coaches, so I think on an ongoing basis, you want to be coached because it's very difficult for anyone to actually put the mirror up in front of yourself and say, what's going on? Where are you at? What are you doing? And not often are we getting those tough questions about what is actually happening for us and what we want to do. Tony Robbins the other day was interviewing Alex Hormozi. These are 2 guys that have done really well and they're proficient and they, have a lot of self-awareness, but you still need those great people around you. So I think about talking out loud. So there is that internal work, but it also is. So I believe I do have a strength within me, and it was like bounce back from tough times. But also you do need that help from other people. So whether it is within your network, when we're talking to each other, Vincent, whether it is through going to events and then seeing what other people are doing and being inspired by them. And that can all those things can lift you up. And I guess you don't know who it is going to be or what is going to be that, flicks that switch for you. It may be a motivational quote or a video you see on social media, and it might be your next door neighbor. It might be someone that asks you the right question. Absolutely. So, all those things have helped me in the past. If I remember back to a story, I worked for a property company at one stage, and the manager said to me, "You haven't got what it takes." And I'm like, "What?" And it's just like, "I don't think you can work for us any longer. You just don't have what it takes." And I just fell. I actually held that with me for a couple of years later, still, for all that time. But it actually found out, even though I found out that manager that I had was actually trying to set up a separate property company, and she wanted to put the fall on me. So I spoke to the boss of the company, and he goes, "What's happening?" I go, "Oh, I have no idea." All of a sudden, she told me I haven't got what it takes. I'm like, "I'm the first one here in the office, last one to leave, and all my customers think I'm doing really good. So I'm not sure." He goes, "Yeah, I agree. I don't really know what's going on." So they found out a couple of weeks later she was trying to set up her own company and put it all on me for what was going on. So it was really interesting period of time. It was a tough period, and like I said, it held on with me for a couple of years later. Maybe if I did have a coach at that time, I could have gone through that process and really nut out and was like, I actually was doing well. So why am I feeling that way? So, but it also gave me a drive to work better, work stronger. But then I feel like you're working on the space of that, anger, that fear, that guilt, that upset, rather than work from a positive stance. So if I did have a coach back then, it would have worked so much better for me, I believe, in just working through that idea.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I definitely agree. It's like having someone to help you, people can hire a coach if they can, but it can be also a business partner, it can be friend, it can be partner, it can be anybody who can lift you up and then, be there for you and help you in the tough situations, because it's also I see the other way around where people going through difficult situations, let's say in the business specifically, and then I have a client or I ask them and who do you speak with it about? A part of me, and it's no one, because when I share it with someone they put me down. I'm so that's not a good network. So it's about creating also the peer group where we are part of. So it can support each other because things get tough. So definitely, like you mentioned, like the coach can definitely speed up the process if people can do it. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, look,
So
other business owners that are doing something similar to you, but maybe not connected directly, I think are helpful. Someone that is so close might be a little bit more difficult because there is some emotions, there is some connection and attachment there as well.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
think someone a little bit removed is always a good person to be with.
So if you are in Australia, pick me. If you are in the UK, pick Luke. So there is at least one continent difference.
Well, sharing care, and then we can be global owners, right? Global customers, global businesses, and I think that's where that can really it's a good way to talk about your business as well. I'm a global business.
Exactly. Yeah. Even if I just send you $1 and you send me £1, I mean, we are already in business. And pound is $2. So you send me $2. You send me $2. I'm going there now. I checked the exchange rate, so I know.
Yeah,
okay.
No, very good. Except the dollar just went up just recently, so Australian dollar went up. The last couple of days. So hopefully it stays low for you, and you can spend as much as you want here because it's very cheap compared to spending money for us over in the UK.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I mean, it was a pleasure to have you here. I think we covered a lot, especially about the AI. It was very good to find out more and share with the public. So obviously, I'll put everything in the description, and so people can reach out to you if they have any questions. I think showing them the demo, as we mentioned about the AI, especially, it's very beneficial, so people can see it in action and then see what everything it can do, and then they can sign up, they can start doing it and working with you. It'll be definitely good. And then obviously I'll see you in Brisbane. I'll be there in a few weeks. So I'll let you know when I'm around. Yeah.
Fantastic. Sounds good, Vincent.
Perfect.
And
Thank you very much.
I'll get you on my podcast. Maybe we can do the live one in Brisbane.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, I'll just stop.